All right, welcome to the show, everybody. We have another good show for you this week. I'm done messing things up, trying
Done.
to get this thing started, Travis.
See what happens when we let Chris run the board.
You jinxed me, is what happened. You jinxed
Ah,
me.
ah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I originally started with the wrong intro, but I got that fixed. I'm good. I'm a
Good now.
professional.
That's
Darn
right.
it, I'm a
Fix it on the
professional.
fly. Fix it on the fly.
That's right. This week we got another good guest for you. We're going to talk to Lori Tucker, and Lori Tucker,
Absolutely.
who I believe back in the day, I'll confirm with her in just a minute. I think she told me she used to go by the name of Lori Gardner back in the day when she was doing stuff, but she has been in lots of music videos. Van Halen's Hot for Teacher, LA Guns, Sex Action, Rick James. I think it was Lucy's Rap. Quite a few videos. We'll talk to her some more about it in a minute, about the different ones she was in. And get you guys some time to know Lori and everything. So, Travis, I'm going to bring her in.
Absolutely.
Because we need somebody other than Travis to look at for sure here.
Yeah.
All right. There she is, Lori Tucker, everybody. Thanks for joining us this
Lori
week,
Tucker,
Lori.
welcome.
We truly appreciate you
Chris,
coming
hey,
on
Travis.
with us. I have been talking with you for I don't know how long to get this. Well, not to get it hammered out to when we're going to start, but just, back and forth till we finally get the date, get here and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And the day is finally
It's been a
here.
minute.
It's been a little minute, yes. I mean, I have harassed you to the point you probably were going to block me at some point. But we're past that now. We're like best buddies and everying.
We are.
So,
There you go.
It's like old home week. Feels like
That's
it's been
right.
years. And
that's right.
There you go.
That's right. But we are going to go a different route. We have not done anything musically wise so far. I mean, the only thing music wise we've done as a show so far is pick our favorite songs from the movies. Songs
That's
that remind
it.
you, remind you of movies and everything. And that was a fun show. But this isn't quite the same. This is the real deal and everything. So,
No doubt.
and we're also going to talk with you about some of the music video time frame during MTV's heyday and everything and stuff like that. That was definitely a fun time for me. Every day coming home from school is flipping the TV on and going to MTV when I was, at a certain point. At first it was He-Man, and then we got the MTV stuff.
Okay, you gotta get He-Man as presidents, man.
I have 6 brothers. Right. I totally,
yeah, so you get it.
We got to get the cartoons in there a little bit before we get the music videos.
That's right.
That was the best time, waking up and watching those Saturday morning cartoons or after school. Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely. I mean, the countdown, the weekly countdown was always there. They showed it 3 or 4 times. So, but Travis, do you want to take off this week? Or you want me to start?
I can go ahead.
Go ahead.
We've spent so much time here in the beginning talking about you musically, and we already know that you're a music lover and that you've been in the videos and all, but we didn't say anything about your modeling career, which had been pretty extensive as well. So we were wondering what got you into modeling, and what was your very first modeling job?
God, that's going to be hard to remember, but I was really tall.
There's been so many.
And skinny, so it was either basketball or modeling. I was not good at basketball, so but I started when I was really young, actually, and I was in a little. Do you remember Montgomery Wards? We used to call it Monkey Wards.
Yeah,
department store.
Yeah.
So out by where I lived, it was in San Fernando Valley. They had a little program called Windy Ward, and I think I was 12 when I entered into it. You do like 6 weeks, and they taught you how to kind of walk and sit. And then they had little, within the store, they let us do tea room modeling. We could pick outfits out in the store. And then we do like little tea room modeling in their cafe, around the customers and everything. And we, go into different departments and kind of like what they called mannequin modeling and things like that.
Right.
And I started meeting photographers through that would come to the events that they had. And, they come and say, hey, do you want to do some testings? I need some pictures for my book, and maybe you can use some pictures. So I started doing that, and actually worked a little bit before I got an agent, but got my first agent when I was about 17. And then an agent came to my agency from Paris and took me to Paris for a year. And, European magazines are beautiful, and there's tons of them. So models usually will go to Europe and, do all the magazine work there and some runway and things like that, and get your book together and come back to LA or New York to make money.
Right.
So, a long process.
where the real dinero is. So,
right.
That's a definite long process there.
It kind of is. So, lived in Paris for a year, modeled all over, was really blessed to go to some really amazing places, came back for about 1.5 years, and then went back for about 2.5 years to Milano, Italy, Munich, Hamburg, a little bit of Zurich, a little bit more in Paris again, and came home and worked here, and then started doing TV commercials, which I did a lot of. And then, wow, MTV hit. That was that. And then it was music videos. But I continued to model and do commercials all through my whole career. So,
okay.
It was nice.
So going back, that made me curious too. He's talking about since you've been doing it since you were a little girl. Were you ever in, like the Montgomery Ward's JCPenney type stuff where they actually in like the catalogs that they mailed out and all that?
Oh,
or was it just like a little? Oh,
yes,
cool.
I shot JCPenney's all the time. We had out here, Broadway department store, which turned into Macy's department store. We had Bullets, things like that. Shot for them. Neiman Marcus, which is a little higher end. And then I would do a lot of ads for the malls themselves during special events. They'd make like posters and things they'd send out in the mail.
What did that do? I'm sorry, Chris. I'm just asking a question because now it's got me. I didn't realize you were into it so young, right? I didn't realize you had gotten into it so young. So it makes me wonder too, like what. So since that was I imagine kind of local to where you lived at the time as well. How did that affect your school life? Did that just blow you up with your popularity and everything?
Oh, I didn't go to school. Actually, my high school year, because I was, going on interviews and working a little bit here and there, I went to a place called Valley Alternative School, and it was behind a college called Pierce College in the Valley. And it had just a very much more relaxed schedule, which allowed me to kind of do what kids are doing, now during COVID, work from home when I needed to. Okay. So so I was allowed to do, a lot of the stuff at home. So that gave me a nice opportunity to just finish. And so, went to Paris right when I turned 18. So I'd finished school in June. And then. So
you just checked out. That's awesome. That must have been some kind of experience for
that was interesting.
That age.
Valley girl landing in Paris. That was great.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's what I was saying. That's really huge at 18 years old to be taken from what you're used to all your life, and now you're in Europe, a big fat, extraordinary place like that.
Yeah,
that you can see in Paris and everything.
Yeah, it was eye-opening. It was exciting. It was scary. But I really learned a lot. I mean, you had to feet on the ground. You had to get a map book of Paris, and the agency would. Give you your what they call go-sees, your interviews.
No Google Maps back there, guys.
No Google Maps. I got into some trouble. So you would look up a street, and then you'd have to go like B42 and go on the map, and then take the subway. You had to learn the subway systems. Looks like this,
Right.
So you get on one train in the subway, and then you'd have to connect here and connect there, and get out, and then get your map book out and find the place. So
and you're keeping appointments during all this too, or trying to, right?
Yeah, and then you're trying to look good when you walked in the rain because it was Paris. Yeah, but I think the hardest thing for me probably. So that was a good life lessons, and was just I come from a big family, and then we're all very close. Like I said, I have 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and so that was hard. The homesickness and being that age. So glad I did it and everything, but I think that was a little harder at first, but I always tell the story of bringing my $12, it was either Casio or Texas Instruments cassette player. And I brought a couple of cassettes, but one of them was Van Halen. And I literally burned it out in my little cassette player. That was the boom box before there were boom boxes, really,
Right.
Yeah.
That thing around. And I had 2 roommates. I slept in the living room of the model apartment, and my 2 roommates hated my guts because I just
played
it and played it and played it until it burnt out. And I had to call my mom.
Different song?
They were like, "Do you have anything else?"
Yeah, right.
No.
Maybe some Def Leppard, Quiet Riot.
Yeah, that was just a little teeny bit before, but gosh, it's so funny you mentioned Def Leppard. I just literally found my 1983 Def Leppard pristine ticket.
Check it out. That is
nice.
so cool.
Pyromania tour, and I'm so happy that Germans are so anal. They didn't even rip their tickets. It's perfect on front and back. So I'm really fun to found that.
Now you said 83. You said that was Pyromania tour?
Pyromania tour, 1983.
Yeah. That's a great one. I did not see that, but I mean, that was a great one.
And I found my Joan Jett ticket from when I lived in Munich, 1982.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
She played in this teeny little theater. God, it's not even a theater. It just looked like a room. It was very small. Down the street from my apartment in Munich. And I just found that. I found that a little bit ago too. It was so.
Oh, that is so awesome. So how many bands how much did you get to see in Germany while you were there?
No. So
those were both Germany, right? Munich.
I was in, between all the countries mostly. Got to see Tom Petty, Spandau Ballet. I remember Earth, Wind, and Fire early on. I saw them in Paris. Saw who else? Oh, Ricky Lee Jones played. Anybody that I've even heard of, if they were playing in town, I went to see them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I've heard you say this before. I'm not sure, but who was your first concert you seen?
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Okay,
BTO, right on.
I do remember you. I do remember you saying that now. I thought I remembered you talking about somewhere else before.
My brother John is 5 years older and my biggest music influence. He took me, and he had a friend named Randy, real tall guy, like 6'6" or something. And there was about 6 of us, and it was general admission. And we were, the line was around the block. So he literally found a piece of paper out of his jacket pocket, opened it up, and said, "You guys come here, follow me." And he took us, he said, "Walk in a line." So we got in a line, and he walked us, and he kept saying, "Section B, this way, Section B." And then he went to the front of the line, and he said, "Excuse me, can you, step aside?" And then everybody stepped aside, and he said, "Section B, this way." And he ushered us into the front of the line.
Heck yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
And nobody said anything.
Right. I used to tell my friends, we had the Black Crowes came here one time to Greenville. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, when the show's over, just trust me, just act like you're supposed to be here. So we jumped the fence and just started roadieing up. We were picking up amps stuff. So we actually got to party with them afterwards. So that was great. So nobody knew who we were. We were just like, "Oh yeah, come on, that's where we put it up."
It's kind of like hiding in plain sight,
Right? Exactly.
It's what you said. Always act like you belong there. That's the whole key to it all. If you look nervous in the least bit, they're going to sniff you out.
You look guilty,
right? That would be me. I would feel guilty. Probably they would look at me and go, "Who are you again?"
Just give yourself away.
I would tell it myself. I'd be like, "Well, I jumped this fence over here. You see, it was so easy."
I'm so sorry.
I won't do it again if you let me just stick my head in and say hi.
Right.
No. Hey, what being with your modeling and everything, what got you turned toward the direction of music video itself? Then, I know MTV coming out and all got your attention, but what really steered you there?
Well, honestly, going on commercial interviews every day, print interviews, and then MTV hit, and man, everybody was making a music video because otherwise you didn't get seen. Your band didn't get seen. Mm-hmm. So just all of a sudden, my agent was adding music videos to the list. So she and it's so funny because this was actually my first music video interview, and my first music video was Van Halen.
Oh, wow.
Just so happened you wore their tape out not too long ago.
Yeah.
Now you're in the video.
I have to say, I've done a lot, and said in the past, some of the bands, I wasn't that huge of a fan of, I'd always heard of them, but you know, Van Halen, man, I really had to hold it together and act very
Yeah.
like I belonged there, like I didn't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course I'm in Van Halen, but you know.
Nice to meet you.
And I don't know if you heard the story, because after I got the job and I did the interview, I had to come back and they wanted us to meet the band, and I had to go into this little room in a 2-piece bathing suit.
Oh wow.
With all 4 of the guys sitting there, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. And I mean, like I said, I literally, they had to move their feet for me to walk to the back of the room, because that's how small it was. Really like large walk-in closet status.
Yeah.
But that was quite the experience. Yeah. Really had to hold it in.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I know you mentioned, you told me some of the other videos you've been in and everything.
Yeah.
When it comes to that genre of music, Van Halen, you know, hard rock, heavy metal, you told me you were the LA Guns in the video.
Yes.
Were those the only 2 you did as far as that type of music goes, or were you in other, you know, for other bands as well?
Probably those were probably, you know, the more rock and roll. I'd gone on a couple others, one for Guns N' Roses that I didn't get. But I think that was, you know, that was that. But yeah, I did a couple of like R&B. I did a Diana Ross and Julio Iglesias, did a kind of a ballad. But I did somebody else that I really love and adore is Pink Floyd. And I did Roger Waters' Sunset Strip music video, which was just really great. Yeah,
I remember that video. When you sent me the link to that video, I'm like, I know this song. I know this. I remember watching that video on television. That's you know. I mean, it
wasn't the most popular song or video of his solo career, but it was really a blast to make, and I was so honored to be able to have anything to do at all with him, just like with Van Halen. You know, still a little.
What were they thinking though? You're walking a dog and you have a monkey on your shoulder. I don't understand. Am I missing something?
Following us. Yeah, I guess it's in the concept of the album, and that song was actually about a kid in Ireland that's psychic.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when he closes his eyes through that dog, through the Great Dane, helps us, you know, helps me somehow perform little, you know, magical things. So
I mean, I saw it at the dog part. I kind of got it, but I was just wondering. I was like, "Where's the monkey fit in?" I kept thinking of
in the song at the very end. She says, "I just want to go home with my monkey I just want to go home and hang out with my monkey," or something like that.
Go hang out with the monkey. I was going to say, where does the monkey not fit in? Like anytime you can throw a monkey into something, I mean, hey,
why not?
Back, right?
There you go. All right. Heck yeah.
But it did, you know, to train it, they give it grapes all day, and you know, it was on my shoulder for 7 hours, and so I got pooped and peed on quite a bit. Very glamorous, you know, the glamorous side of shooting videos. And by the end of the day, you know, it's a little thing right here, very strong though, I must say. And so it started to kind of like just turn its head and look at me, and I look at it, and it started to bite my face. So I turned it, and it did it twice, and then the trainer took it off my shoulder and said, "Okay, we're done for the day."
Yeah, like that's enough of that. Yeah.
I didn't get any monkey fever or something.
Yeah. What was that movie? Outbreak?
Outbreak, yeah.
COVID was bad. Oh my God, mad monkey.
Yeah.
Somebody find that monkey.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and figure that Van Halen was probably your favorite rock and roll band to work with, or
yes.
Was there another?
And then I really had a great time working with LA Guns. That was such a fun music video to work on as well, because we shot all night long, of course, until probably, until the sun came up. But we shot at all these great, they were such a Sunset Strip Hollywood band. And it was just iconic. We shot on the Walk of Fame, and the whole opening scene is our feet and us walking on the Walk of Fame. You see the stars. Right. We shot at the Roxy Theater. We shot up in Mulholland Drive.
Y'all did this all in one night.
We dumps their cars.
Y'all did this all in one night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crazy enough it seems. It was.
That's some running around and getting some shots.
We started early and just Van Halen. I shot for 3 days.
Wow.
And there was so much going on. We would shoot one thing in the middle of the day and then come back the next day and shoot one thing, and the next day shoot a couple, because we're in that, I'm, the three of us teachers are Waldo's girls. In the end segment where there's no one sure what happened to Waldo after high school. So we're standing around him. Actually, can't see it, but Niels Lawsauer, the photographer, I went to visit him right before lockdown, and he, was the god of rock photography. He still is, I think. But he let me pick out a couple of prints he had all the original slides from the whole shoot. And he was the only person allowed to shoot. I usually carried my Polaroid with me, and like a lot of the pictures that I have, like here's LA Guns, like this is my Polaroid right here of myself and the guys. That's my Polaroid. That's my Polaroid. So they didn't let us do that on Van Halen, unfortunately. But so got to pick out a couple of. He signed some prints for me. Really, really nice guy. Yes. So that was a really fun shoot that we did for that. And I did a couple of videos. I had gotten hired for Peter Frampton, and had to actually interview in front of, most of the time the bands were right there. Sometimes they look at the tape and they pick you. They pick the, who's going to be in. And then you'll have to eventually meet them and then, of course, work with them. But Peter Frampton was in the room with the director, and I had to walk back and forth, that's what they make you do. And the director left the room for a second, and Peter was so sweet. He says, "I'm so sorry that, you had to do that. I'm so sorry." I was like, "It's okay."
And that's cool of him, though, because I mean, it's like, I would imagine you're thinking in your head, like, what, is this Tommy Hilfiger modeling one of his clothes or something? You know what I mean? Or Donatella Versace over here, like, this is Peter Frampton. He plays guitar, man.
Right. But
that's really cool that he did that, though. Right. That was really cool that he put you to the side like that, though.
For me, in Van Halen, I had to walk back and forth, so I did have to do an improv and do all that.
Right.
So Peter Frampton, we shot all day into the evening, and I had a scene with Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong, and he lives in LA with his wife, but for some reason he was coming from New York or something, and he missed his flight or his connecting flight. So we shot all of Peter's stuff, and the scene of me coming up to the door and knocking, and I'm supposed to say, "Is Peter there?" And it's supposed to be Tommy Chong saying, "Peter's not here, man."
That's what I was just thinking that very thing.
So that was the whole thing. And I think another thing with him, and he tells me no. And so my scene didn't make any sense because there was no Tommy Chong. So I didn't make it into the video. Man. I got paid. I got to hang out with him. I got Polaroid with him. And the director was really cool. And he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this Bob Seger video, next week. I don't know if I have, I don't have a specific part for you, but I really want you to be a part of it. You want to do it?" And I was like, "Fine, sure, of course, sounds fun." And it was American Storm, and it was really star-studded. It had, James Wood. It had Randy Quaid, who actually was a friend of mine from a few years before.
Oh, nice.
Just a whole bunch of really good people. And so that was an incredible shoot. And then I basically ended up just literally walking by a table, Randy and this a person named Morgan Brittany. So on both those, I didn't really do much in them, but it was, a great shoot nonetheless. Got a Polaroid with them too.
No doubt. I was just going to say, get to hang out with all those people.
Look,
Travis, would be awesome.
She said Randy Quaid. All I can see is Cousin Eddie in my head.
Yeah, he's Cousin Eddie.
Really? Well, for me, with Randy Quaid, when I think of Randy, I think of him being the crop duster in
Independence Day. Yeah,
because he was big time in that one too.
Yeah, and then he left LA. They're from Texas and everything. And I spent Christmas Eve. We went to, my house first, and then we went over to his house, and it was Dennis Quaid, and he was married to PJ Souls at the time. And his mom was there, and, spent Christmas Eve with them. Awesome. But he was a really, really really sweetheart of a guy, really nice guy, but he ended up leaving for New York City because he was on Saturday Night Live for a while. And so I hadn't seen him since then. And he actually was still doing Saturday Night Live, and he flew in just to do this music video for Bob Seger.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And another very interesting video was the Rick James.
I
didn't watch that.
Ask about that one.
That's the Lucy rap. And it was a lot of girls, you know, a lot of us girls. He liked, you know, he wanted tall women, and I'm 5'11". Of course, they had us in high heels still. So none of us were under 6 foot tall. Let's just put it that way. And it was fun though. It was fun. I knew a couple of the girls that, you know, I was shooting with, and I think it was Muhammad Ali's daughter or something does the rap in it, or his niece or something like that does the rap in it. So, you know, that was fun. And
yeah, that would have to be wild being around Rick James. Just being around, just being in his presence has to be something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He behaved himself and didn't get arrested for years later.
Right.
They didn't have to find me in a basement somewhere. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's something else for that one.
That
So
awesome.
what about we read somewhere too that you were almost on the California Girls. I know you had mentioned a couple just now that, you know, you went so far as to being in the video, but then it didn't make it past the cutting room or whatever for the final viewing. What happened with California Girls? If there's truth to that, or if there's
there is. They so I did that video, and then his next solo album, of course, he had, you know, not that much longer later. So his people called my people. So his people called my agency, and he specifically asked for me to be in the video, which I thought was really cool. But I was already booked on a Pantene shampoo hair commercial.
Okay.
And, you know, it was videos. Hot for Teacher actually paid very decently because they went through Screen Actors Guild, but usually music videos, even to this day, don't pay very well. I think it's up to pizza and all the beer you can drink or something. I'll take it. But
you'll be in a school video, get some exposure.
Travis is like, where can I sign up?
Right.
Yeah, pizza and beer.
Corona. So my agent's like, you're not doing that music video for, you know, $500. You're going to do this Pantene for so many thousands of dollars. So
right. Well, that's
in hindsight, I totally would have done David Lee Roth.
Heck yeah.
Because, you know, you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to remember most down the road? What do I want to have as a memory down the road? That I was with David Lee Roth and California Girls, or I did a shampoo commercial? That's probably what you're thinking at that point, you know? Because, I think I would take the other opportunity as well if I could.
I would have both.
Right.
I'm not greedy or anything, but both. Yeah. But
surely
you know,
there
at
was
the time I was traveling a lot, working a lot, you know, and just like once you booked into a commercial, you can't say no. You know, there's a contract.
Well, I was gonna say the commercials too. So, would you doing all this where you were got tongue tied there? Were you aspiring to go into movies or TV or anything? Because I know a lot of times too, that's how
I started out.
The commercials
very young,
is the gateway to that as well.
Yeah, I started off at 15, about 15 and a half, going to this Lee Strasberg's Theater Institute, and that's where all, you know, De Niro and everybody went. And then he came to California. That was them in New York, and he came to California. And we did not have much money. I don't know what my parents were thinking, but they signed us, my little brother Tommy and I, up, and we would take the bus for like 2.5 hours into Hollywood from the Valley, from Northridge, and go. And they had, you know, different classes, and, you know, Angelina Jolie's mom was going there at the time. So John Voight was there all the time. They would have people come in and speak. So they would have, you know, Jack Nicholson came in to speak, and Roman Polanski, and Singing in the Rain, Gene Kelly. He came in to speak, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was sitting there. I'm like, I should go. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go before he gets here. And I ran out the double doors and almost knocked him to the floor. So,
that's awesome.
And something funny too is, okay, so couldn't afford it. And I had to tell my teacher, I said, listen, you know, we can't afford it anymore. I'm so sorry. We love it here so much. And she says, no, well, let me figure something out. And she called my folks and said that they were going to put my brother Tommy and I on scholarship there. and we just had to,
awesome.
you know, help out. So we did lighting for some of their little performances, and I had to help do the improv class for the kids. Kids weren't all that much younger than me. So one of the kids was Laura Dern, you know, Bruce Dern's daughter, who was, you know, Laura Dern, Mask and Jurassic Park, and everything. She's still working, to this day. And she had, I remember she had a little bowl cut and everything. She was tall like me. She's part of my tall tribe. And so I had to guide them through improvs. And I'm really happy that I did go to Lee Strasberg and learn how to improv, because honestly, there's a lot of great looking girls, a lot of really good actresses and things, but often you had to improv when you actually, most of the time you had to improv when you went on an interview. And sometimes there's nothing set up. You just have to kind of, you know, create.
Right.
And that got me a lot of work. I really, truly believe. So I'm forever grateful for being able to go there. But it's so funny to think about, you know.
That is
awesome. Well, I have to say one more story about Lee Strasberg.
Yeah. Please do.
Jason and my brother Tommy and I, we didn't have money. But my dad would make sure, my mom would make sure we had enough money to, during our, you know, take the bus, and during our break, we'd go downstairs on Hollywood Boulevard, and a couple doors down was a pizza place. So we had enough money for a piece of pizza and a Coke. And this kid, Jason, never had any money. And my brother, 9 kids, we're used to sharing everything, if, you know, even if it's our last bit. Right. So always giving him money. We walk around the corner to Burger King, always treating him to his Burger King, always giving him half our pizza. And one day we're going down the stairs, we're leaving, and I see out there's this huge Rolls Royce with a driver. And he goes, "Okay, gotta go, guys, bye." And he runs down the stairs. He gets in this Rolls Royce.
Oh my God.
Turns out he's Jason Bronson, Charles Bronson's son.
Oh, wow.
Dad did not send that kid with any pocket change.
Yeah, he didn't have any pocket change. Yeah.
I think he probably had a little money. Maybe just a little money.
Not with him.
It was just not on his person. Nothing he was wanting to part with. I'll tell you that.
Right. I had a buddy in high school like that. That kid, he'd have $50 in his pocket and walk up and ask you if you got any change. So he wouldn't. You know, he's like, "Hey, man, you got 25 cents? You got?" He's like, "Hey, I asked enough people. I got a drink and a snack. I ain't had to spend none of my money." I was like, "Dude,
right?" I had a friend like that too, and I got onto her finally, and I just was clean.
I think everybody's known that person, probably. Everybody's known that person. Did when you were doing these videos and everything, and your commercials, of course, and all that, and the modeling, did you find that you were getting noticed a lot on the street by people? They recognize you from the videos or the television commercial that you did?
Yeah, you know, so often in the print ads and things like that, if it was something that was out there, or a billboard or something like that. But you know, the people in the business knew me, everything, but the thing that cracks me up the most are 2 things that I thought I'd be the least recognizable that people would come up to me for. And they weren't even, I even had somebody, I was in New York, and this person comes out of the subway and goes, "Hey, I just saw you on a billboard in Tokyo," you know?
Wow.
You know, but I was on an episode of Family Feud with my, and with my mom, my sister, her husband, and my husband at the time. This was just like 1990 or something like that, and 91. And for weeks, people would come up to me and say, were you on Family Feud?" I was like, "What?"
That's one of those shows that like everybody in America.
One night, we didn't win the big money at the end of the night. We got some, and then we were on the next night, and then we lost. But that just never ceased to amaze me. It was cracking me up. But right. And then
that seems like too. Family Feud.
I have a clip of that on my Instagram. I had to put
Family Feud's one of those shows. It's like, no, it's not water cooler talk show, but it's like everybody in America watches. It's like American Ninja Warrior. Everybody's watching it, but nobody's talking about it.
Right. Exactly. Nothing they'd admit to. Right.
Right.
And then the other thing that I got noticed a lot was I had done do you remember Gotcha bathing suits, Gotcha sportswear, Gotcha bikinis?
Yeah, they had
so
watches too. Gotcha watches. Yeah.
Yes, it was Michael Thompson.
And
And
they had little rubber bands that went around them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
different colored rubber bands. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and it was in everywhere, like Body Glove and stuff. And so he was a, famous South African surfer, and he opened that company himself. So at the time there was the number 2 surfer who was Australian, Shane Horan, and I got hired for that. And shocking, because I'm not blonde, usually beachwear blonde. And did like it was like a 5-page spread in all the surfer magazines, surfing, all that stuff. And then they did do some smaller posters of me in the surf shops and where you would get your surfboards and your clothes and things like that. So, yeah, I got recognized a lot for that.
That's cool. That is cool.
And of course, commercials.
Walking down Venice Beach or something, and everybody knows you.
Yeah, it's like
You're like,
all
yeah.
the surfers definitely did. Yeah.
No, that's what I meant. The surfers and all.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's me.
The other day I saw you in there, man.
And then I did like Burger King, and I did a couple Burger Kings. I did a Domino's with Martha Quinn, who was still a VJ on MTV. So people remember me from that. And I did Coca-Cola. I did every kind of beer you can imagine. Just a beer girl. I don't know. Did Miller, Genuine Draft, Coors, Special Export.
Were any of them into the on the Super Bowl commercials? Did any of them ever make it to the Super Bowl?
I think one of the beers did, and the cool thing for me was I did a Kmart, and it played during the Olympics, the 1984 Olympics.
Oh, that's just as cool, no doubt.
So I just gotten home like a few months before and shot that, and shot Van Halen around the same time, and shot Airwolf around the same time. But it was really fun to have it, like everybody's watching that, and then I did get a lot of phone calls from that, even in my relatives in Tennessee and Virginia.
I just see you on the Olympics. Right? Heck yeah.
See, I knew there was something good about her. She said relatives in Tennessee. Travis, where am I from?
There you go. Tennessee.
Tennessee.
My grandparents are from Tennessee.
Yeah. My great grandparents are from there. My Ed GoDaddy Rollins got ran out for moonshining, but that's
why is it I don't have problem believing that? I don't have any trouble believing that at all. I don't know why.
If you're from Tennessee, you probably did a little moonshining.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know my grandfather worked on the railroad.
Yeah, that was big too there
in Tennessee, and then I think in Virginia, and then he started working for the government when they moved to Indian Head, Maryland, which like about 40 minutes outside of DC.
So cool. Well, now I want to ask you here in just a second about MTV in general. Yeah. Some of your things about that and everything. We're going to talk about these music videos and what ultimately happened with it all. But I was just curious. You mentioned Airwolf a moment ago.
Yes.
How many different TV shows did you get spots on? Like I know you mentioned Airwolf. You had a little bit there on Family Feud. Were those just a couple here and there, or did you do quite a few?
Yeah, I did the Airwolf episode, which was really fun to shoot. God, we shot for almost a whole week on that because it was one of their extended episodes to be like a little mini movie, And then I actually still have my VHS.
Cool. There we go. That's awesome.
Cool.
I had to locate a DVD though, so I could actually put it in the. Can't watch it. So I did that, and I did a show called Gavilan, and that was, I'm trying to think of the guy. He was in 1,000 different TV shows. I know his name, Gavilan. Oh gosh. And then I was on a TV movie called The Lives of the Twins with Aidan Quinn and Isabella Rossellini and Iman, David Bowie's wife.
Right.
And that was fun. Of course, I played a model in that. Go figure, right? Shooting with the actual real famous photographer at the time. And they walk into the agency and I'm doing this photo shoot with the photographer and a couple of guys. And, that was really fun. And a couple things here and there that I never found, can't find on TV, I know there was another TV movie kind of about modeling, and I thought it was maybe called Blush or something, but I can never find my segment. And then I did a number of videos at the time, like VHS VHS type things for like makeup artists and things like that. That they sold in the stores. And I did a little part in a movie called Emanon with the Paul brothers, but I can't find that either. You can find it and find trailers, but I can't find actual movies. So hopefully one day.
It is. It's hard sometimes with stuff like that too. That's like we were talking about Catherine Mary Stewart a while ago.
Yeah.
I'd seen an interview where they alluded to the end of it, that she had almost gotten, or she was leaving to go have a part in Highlander, but then you get to looking it up, and there's nothing on the internet that references it. There's things I remember from the 80s that, like, I try to look it up on. There's a cartoon that I watched when I was a kid. I swear it was called The Comic Strip. It was about Frankenstein and Dracula and the Wolfman and all that, but they were all kids and they went to a summer camp. Right. And they went to a summer camp. Yeah, but I can't find it anywhere on the internet.
I gotta ask my sister. My sister worked for Hanna-Barbera, Bakshi, Filmation, all the Scooby-Doo's, and then she ended up with Warner Brothers, and Steven Spielberg was her boss, of course. And they did Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all that later on. But she was, from the 70s on. I'll ask her and see if she remembers. Actually, I'll ask my brother Ralph. He will know. He's the
right? Yeah. I swear it was called The Comic Strip, and it was like every weekend they'd have something a little bit different. But I remember distinctly it was all of the monsters, the creatures from the Black Lagoon, even, and I have a little summer camp
memory of that. But I'm gonna. And isn't it funny how you can't find some things that you see?
Yeah, it's like nowhere. It's
my
like
Diana Ross music video. I used to see it all the time. I saw it on MTV, and then I saw it on the internet, and I went to go pull a little footage from it, and it's gone. I can't find it anywhere.
What happened? That was me. I know I was there.
There was a lot of us dancing. Mostly dancing was Bob Girardi, and he was doing the dance stuff. And can't find that sucker. But I took a lot of acting lessons, and I wanted to do that, but I can't control the universe. And it's just, I got so busy modeling and so busy doing commercials, and I traveled, which was really good, that I just did, I didn't end up taking the time to, pursue that more. But
but so I guess, that paid the bills, and it was fun, right? So it's like you enjoyed it, and it,
I was so blessed and so lucky to work from such a young age, and then to work all the way until I started having kids. I actually did, and I never had to have another job. I actually, when I was 8 months pregnant with my son, Weston, I did a Burger King commercial for the, 99-cent Whopper. And in the commercial, I have to, there's my fake husband and daughter, and I have to come into the scene and sit with them in the booth. And being 8 months pregnant was not little. And
just slide in.
I would come in, and I would like sit and go, hi. And the sound guy goes, I'm sorry, can you be a little more quiet when you sit down? Just let me sit, because I can't do it.
Actually,
I was eating all the set fries, which you shouldn't eat, because they're just like sitting there really gross.
It's not even under a heat lamp.
But the nice thing about that was I was like 8 months pregnant, so I was just a month away from having him, and they had taken one scene where I'm sipping my soda and cut it into a whole bunch of different Burger Kings throughout that year. So I literally got paid the whole year on this one commercial.
On the one thing. Wow.
That's awesome right there.
I didn't even know it worked like that. That's right. They took the clip off the one commercial and inserted it.
They can do that, and they
residuals from all that.
Yeah. And I was lucky too. At the time, I'd done the Miller Genuine Draft and shot it, and then it played a lot, and then it didn't play for another like 2 years. And again, right at that same time, they said, we're going to renew it and start playing it again. And then your agent can renegotiate and get more money. So I did. And so that whole year was really great to be able to know that I didn't have to work, and just,
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah,
Travis,
it was nice.
I know what I'm gonna do now. I know what I'm gonna do now.
I'm gonna cut a commercial or two, man.
Is there any
That's
call?
what you gotta do.
Is there any call for 48-year-old balding fat man out there? Because I am here and I am ready.
Dad bods are in now, bro.
Yeah,
this is what's happening. You're in the cool place. I have to tell you, it is. I still do some commercial and print stuff, but it's always like it's all internet stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be when you were Screen Actors Guild, you couldn't do non-union. Now it's all non-union, or the majority of it. The pay is so much worse than it used to be. It used to be just awesome. You know, you got paid for the day, you got holding fees, you got residuals, or they, you know, if it was a buyout, your agent would negotiate a solid rate, and then, you know, they could use it as much as they want. And now really it is almost down to pizza and all the beer you can drink. It's like, we're going to pay you this little bit of money and give you this other little bit to use it for the next 10 years. And, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's some things out there that are okay, but it's just basically a side gig for me.
Well, you called it though. You said the internet. The internet's what changed a lot of that stuff. You know, now if you think about it, everybody out there is a model. Everybody out there is an actor. Everybody out there is a comedian. Everybody's got their own little gig. YouTube is out there for anybody to want to put on a show. I literally sat here and wondered to myself one day how it was a 9-year-old kid. I think he was 9 years old.
Oh,
Travis,
yes.
Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. All he did was open toys that his father would buy for him.
That's Ryan's toy review, baby. Ryan is a millionaire.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Like $25 million or something?
Yeah,
right?
I'm like,
exactly.
if a kid can make all this money opening up toys, why am I doing what I'm doing today? That's what I would say. I mean, come on. I'll open toys.
Formula.
Because Chris doesn't get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day. That's why.
That's right. Heck yeah.
I got priorities.
That's it.
That's right. I got priorities.
Me too.
So look. With you got me laughing now. With MTV, I remember, you know, like I said, they had their countdown show every day. Every week they had the weekly countdown. You had the Headbangers Ball. You got Yo MTV Rap. You got all this great stuff they had on there. What was your favorite thing about MTV?
The Real World killed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see. I was going to allude to that originally. That's what killed
what
MTV.
Did you say? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I said until Theo Vaughn and the Real World killed
The Real World.
It seemed like it started with Spring Break in '94 or so. Like the Spring Break started taking over, and then the Real World, and then Road Rules, and then all. And then
that was it.
Right.
Then the music videos were gone.
That's it. I mean, you had a few countdown shows left. That was about it. Those and the Headbangers Ball kept going on and on and on until it finally.
I loved Headbangers with Ricky Rackman.
I was up every Saturday night till about 3:00 in the morning watching.
Oh, yeah.
I think it started. I think you were. I think it was midnight my time.
Midnight, I think. Yeah.
And it was starting, and then first it was Adam Curry, I think, and then it was Ricky Rackman.
Right.
And I mean, and I'm sitting here with my VCR ready to go, waiting for the videos to come on because I'm recording the videos. When they come on, the ones I want to keep and watch. I still have to this day a 6-hour tape of videos that I just can't watch.
Oh my God.
One, I do have a VCR to put them in. I found one at somebody's house at an estate sale one day, and I snatched it up. They said it worked still, and it does. But that tape had been played so many times that when I try to play it, it flickers and jumps everywhere. It's just no good anymore.
You got to reach out there and push the tracking button. You don't know about this these days, and probably people have forgotten on a VCR you got the tracking button.
It's not the tracking button. No, I do know about the tracking button.
Until they stop flipping the line, stop flipping.
I totally get it because all my back in the day, I would go to the production house. On the commercial, I'd find out who the production house was. And then after it started airing, I could go to it. It was usually in Hollywood somewhere. And they would give me a copy. And sometimes I think like I have a Van Halen. I mean, some of them are like this big, huge, like giant reel. But they would, give me a VHS copy or one of the weird copies, but give me a VHS. And so I'd have like 20, 30, 40, 50 VHS. And then I would go somewhere and they would put them all onto, like all my commercials to that point on it, one VHS and blah. So I have like 20 different VHS with different things on them and some missing, and some I can't play, some I play and they're like, there's nothing on there and I knew there was. So it's really sad when, things are just disappearing that you can't find.
You can get them transferred to DVD these days, but the question is how good a quality is your VHS to transfer to the DVD?
Right.
It may not be good enough.
Yeah. Well, you can go to a place to have them do it. Right. But then I gave them some VHSs that like almost nothing came out on them, like maybe one or two things. And then it's just a bunch of like, but I got most of it. And a lot of stuff's on YouTube, not everything, but
yeah.
A good amount of things. So,
and like a lot of the videos we used to watch on MTV, you just mentioned YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that. You can see these videos; they're all there. It's just like it's just like you never lost them.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
I remember the first time my son went, "Hey, have you ever looked for any of your stuff on YouTube?" I'm like, "What's a YouTube?" This is back when it was newer.
Right. What's YouTube? That's what my son got me one time. He asked me, I said, I forgot what it was I was talking about, but this boy looked at me, and he was born in 1999. But he looks at me, he goes, "Travis, you mean way back in the 1900s?" I was like, "Ooh, boy,
that hurts."
That hurts just a little bit.
Yeah, didn't
even say it to me, and I'm feeling the pain off that one.
I'm telling you, I was like, "Boy, you was born in the 1900s, bro. What are you talking about?"
Hard.
Yeah.
But
we were in the greatest decades, though. I'm telling you,
at things and
we've looked back, even though I don't particularly recall the 70s. I was born in 1980 on the button. So, but I would say that the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that 30 years right there, I feel like outshines everything else.
I think so.
It does.
I really think so.
Earlier today, I had a video come through to my phone that said these songs turned 35 years old today, and it made me feel terrible because I'm looking at videos that I know I watch on a daily basis on MTV.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, man, 35 years old today, and I'm thinking, 13 years. I would have been 13 years old at the time. Sure, that's right. Man, am I old?
Right. No, Miss Lori and Mr. Bibbidi Bop himself being one of those videos. Bibbidi Bop.
Kids these days think, the 2000s is old music, because it's 20 years.
Yeah, what?
Freaky. I can't even wrap my head around that.
I put a playlist on the other night at work. I'm like, the greatest hits of the 90s. That'd be great. It pulls up all this NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I'm like, whoa.
Wait a minute.
Really? I had to look it up. Like that really was in the 90s. What?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking I'm still thinking that was New Kids on the Block.
Right. NSYNC, New Kids on the Block.
And then when you hear that Nickelback is on classic rock now.
Right.
No.
My son just told me, how they make so much fun of Nickelback, who I happen to like, but he told me there's a thing, and they call it Nickel Block. So you can block Nickelback from playing.
No, Nickel Block. That's cold.
That is
I like
bad.
Nickelback too. They got a couple of songs that sound the same, but
there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that everybody has to have someone to pick on. And,
that's it. I think they started the ball. Somebody started the ball in that thing and just
look. When I was a teenager, we made fun of the New Kids on the Block.
Right. Oh yeah.
So much, so bad.
Yeah.
That today I almost feel bad for it because I do like Donnie Wahlberg. I like the show he's on. I like Blue Bloods. So if Donnie Wahlberg was to step out in front of me, I'd be like, "Hey, it's Blue Bloods." He's like, "Yeah, New Kids on the Block." I'm like, no.
We had Creed. I made fun of Creed because Creed was still putting out albums, and VH1 decided to do a behind the music on them. And it's like they're still making music. Why are you doing it behind the music?
I remember that episode distinctly.
Oh my God. When they came out and said things got so bad, we were doing 3 shots of Goldschlager before we went on stage. Like, you know what that record is? Like 3 shots of Goldschlager? Come on. So that was like, we made fun of
you didn't party with Van Halen, evidently.
Yeah, you didn't party with Van Halen. Poison and Motley Crue.
You call yourself a rocker. Well, it's funny because I just I help with my friend Patrick Warburton's St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital fundraiser every year, and we just did it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I'm on the auction committee, and they have an amazing music jam night. And Alice Cooper always headlines, and he's awesome. And a whole bunch of people: Skunk Baxter, Eric Lifeson from Rush, just Don Felder from the Eagles, just people from the 70s till now. And Scott Stapp was this is the first year he performed. So he just performed.
Wow.
Yeah. You said that you brought that up. I'm like, wow.
It was actually very cool. It was actually very cool. Travis, she had a live bit going from the Alice Cooper concert. That was while she was there, and I saw this live, and I tuned into it, and it's Alice Cooper. I'm like, oh, great, she's at the concert.
He's just standing there talking.
I forget if he was doing. It was either No More Mr. Nice Guy or.
And then 18. He segued into 18 after.
Yeah,
No More
but
Mr. Nice-
when
School's
it
Out.
but before we got to the next song though, the audio went out.
I know.
It was gone. I'm like, no, and so I went
I
out
know.
the back end.
What I
I
love
have
about
this
him too
great
is he,
video from right before COVID where we're setting up the auction stuff inside because this one was outside this time because of COVID. And I took my camera and I'm just like walking through the hallway, and then I opened the door where it's just like, it looks like a banquet room, and he's up there, no makeup and just rehearsing and doing a sound check. And I have footage of that. I just love it.
That's cool.
I love Alice too. He kind of gave birth to that thing where like, I was about to say something about Scott Stapp and Chad Kroeger on an SNL bit that they did. It was hilarious. But going back to that, he was like the original. You know how they'll make fun of like, I don't know, like Lil Jon doing the yeah, and he'll be like, so how much is this going to count toward my frequent flyer miles? Like Alice was like the first person to really be that way. He's out on the stage, I'm 18, and then he speaks like highly educated and he enunciates properly and everything. And it's like, what in the world is Alice?
And he's an avid golfer, So
you see Alice Cooper out there and is like
that is funny. I did not know that. That is so funny.
He doesn't want any pictures in his golf garb because he doesn't
want
to mess with it.
He goes like legit Scottish too. He wears like the little puff. I've seen pictures of him. He wears the little puff pants and everything. It's like, wow.
Well, he was really cool too. He always donates his time. Sometimes he brings his son to sing with him, which is so fun. He didn't sing this year, Dashel. But he was very cool. A friend of mine does these really cool jackets, like t-shirts and jackets. She redoes them. She's called Rock Redo 24/7. So awesome. She'll take like a t-shirt and redo it and do all kinds of cool stuff to it and add all her magic.
So it looks like the 80s, like she'll
just like
she's
back together, so it's got the sides and does like all kinds of cool stuff to it. Very rock and roll. Right. And then she, a friend of mine had sent me a Hot for Teacher t-shirt from Chicago, a friend of mine from Chicago, but the t-shirt was really little, but the artwork was cool. So Rock Redo said, I want to make a jacket out of that. And she cut the artwork out and made a patch and then did this amazing faux leather jacket for me and did some cool stuff. But she did this really amazing Alice Cooper jacket this year. And she did it with a t-shirt from Rebel Hollywood. They have some great rock and roll shirts. So it was like a limited edition Alice Cooper shirt. She cut it out and did that. Did an amazing job. And then she donated it to the St. Jude, the Warburton St. Jude, and it went for over $1,000. So it was
wow. That's awesome.
Like, cool. So it goes all to the kids, So
that is
pretty cool. And he signed it. So he signed that. And another friend of mine who does amazing like graphic art from a lot of musicians and athletes and things is Rick Mapes. He's in Connecticut. Rick Mapes art, and he sent a really nice piece of art that he did of Alice, and Alice signed that. So him doing that made these items go for much more, which was really nice.
Right.
I mean, they would have gone for a lot anyway, but just he's so cool to do that.
No doubt.
Doesn't have to do that too. So he's great.
That's super cool. It kind of is surprising sometimes too how the people that the rock and roll side of things and the side of things that most people I guess in society would think that they're going to be the ones that are not cool or not down to earth, and those are the ones that are the most down to earth. And like when you speak to them, it's like talking to somebody else who doesn't they don't even have all this fame and fortune. They're just like talking to another person.
And
I think it's so cool.
It's interesting that you brought that up because I was literally just talking about this working with a lot of different celebrities and music artists and things like that. There are those people that you have in your head an idea that they're going to be hard to work with, they're going to act like rock gods or
right
stars.
Yeah.
And then the ones that you go, oh, this person's going to be so cool because they're this. It always turns out the one you think is going to be cool. I don't want to like say anything. Well, maybe I shouldn't say, but I did a country music artist video, and I thought he was, homegrown boy. I thought, country. I thought he was just going to be like really down to earth, and he wasn't. It just wasn't. He even actually corrected me. He had a tech guy named Punkin, and I was talking to pumpkin.
Oh, you said
nice
pumpkin, didn't you?
But I
Instead of
said
pumpkin.
And he walked by and said, "That's pumpkin," and not a smile on his face or anything, and then walked by without it, and I was like, "Ooh."
How dare you pronounce the M and the P?
Like the principal just walked by and caught me smoking in the bathroom or something, I just like,
goodness.
God. So and then to sit with somebody like Peter Frampton, and he sat there and talked to me for 2.5 hours while we were waiting for a break or waiting for a scene to be set up, and I got
Peter's
to hear
a
all
legend.
His wife's shellfish allergy. I know everything about everything.
Wow. Right. Yeah. And Peter's a legend. I mean, as far as the way I grew up, the people I grew up around,
Yeah. He was still a pretty big deal at that time. So, and then of course, Eddie, what can I say? One of the nicest people on the earth. Just so well, him and his brother, all of them really nice. Dave being a little bit more of the eccentric and Mr. Showman, Mr.
We call him Bibbidi Bop.
Right, he was great, but I mean, the other guys were just super cool. And in the scene that I was in the jail cell, they were all sitting in the back with the younger Van Halen, and Eddie was on the floor. I don't know why. I guess there was no room. He just decided to lay on the ground. If you look at that scene, you'll see him on the ground. He looks like he's 12. And during the breaks, he was like twisting his cigarette in his mouth and stuff. But what a sweetie, what a sweetheart, really nice guy. And Tracy Guns from LA Guns, again, just a sweetheart of a man, still is to this day, just a really, really nice guy.
And what a great first album they had too. My cousin and I wore their first album out that they had. It was great.
Yeah,
that was so some really good stuff.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And Phil still got a great voice. He's, Tracy still kills it.
So I'm going to put you on the spot for a second here. Then with Van Halen, now are you? I know you did this. You're probably partial to Van Halen because you did the video, but Van Halen or Van Hagar?
Oh, Van Halen.
Van Halen.
I love Van Hagar too, but that Dave was Van Halen for so long, and all the most my favorite songs, all through there, and
I mean, truly, Van Hagar for me, I can't drive 55s. That's about it. That's about it.
I mean, that was the same Hagar tune before we got in with Van Halen. But
we're gonna get some hate mail here, but
we are probably, yeah.
And, have Running with the Devil was on my, running tape for 100 years, forever. I ran to that song, and then of course there was, when Van Hagar came along. I mean, I bought their albums and I enjoyed them, but
I did not get
Van Halen.
I didn't get to see Van Halen in concert until Sammy Hagar was a part of the group. So the first one I seen with them was the OU812 tour.
Yeah,
and,
that was
which is funny because like for the longest time I don't think a lot of people got the innuendo with their album name and everything.
Right.
So many funny things back then they used to have all these things. I mean, I think my first concert was not Van Halen. It was Kiss. Actually, it was Hot in the Shade with Kiss.
Yeah,
and that was my actual favorite band growing up. It's still my favorite metal band right now, or hard rock band, whatever you want to classify them as.
Right.
They're still my favorite rock band to this day.
Yeah, they're amazing. That's a great first concert to see. Yeah. I was really lucky enough to go to the 2015, the very, very last show at the Hollywood Bowl. They played at home when they got off that reunion tour.
Yeah.
And it was the last time Eddie played live. It was the last time Wolfie played with his dad live. I'm sure they played at home, but it was a live show.
Right.
And the last time, of course, all of them played together. It was, So I'm so happy I got to
be a part of that. No doubt. That's awesome. That's special. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I just noticed the time. I know we've kept you on for quite a bit here, and I don't want to take up all your time tonight. You've probably got some of the things you need to do too. So we'll go ahead and
I have a couch and a movie waiting for me right now.
Hey, there you go.
What's the movie? We'll have a viewing party with everybody, all the people out there. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, we're not live, so they can't do that, I guess. So
okay, but I just watched I watched last night with my other daughter, and now I'm going to watch tonight with my other daughter. It's called The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds.
Just watched that last night too.
Isn't it good?
I just watched that last night with my daughter. Yes,
I love
it's
it.
Amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't even mind watching it again.
I'm
I just watched it last night as well with my daughter. Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I knew it too. As soon as he came in, it's a Ryan Reynolds movie on Netflix. So we were gonna watch Army of Thieves. It's got the little Dieter character in it, which I recommend that movie too highly. Army of Thieves. It is great. But yeah, as soon as we saw it was Ryan Reynolds, we were like, well, I mean,
gotta watch it.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
You can't go wrong with Ryan Reynolds.
It's like that. It's like that TikTok I saw.
You know, it's like having Deadpool in the movie.
Right.
It's like, you know, because it's got the young him and him older, and they're just banter back and forth. But
and the kid is like Ryan Reynolds. You know, he handpicked that kid to play him as young.
Oh yeah,
you know he did. The banter that they have back and forth, and his smart mouth. Oh my gosh.
And the kid, for some reason, his voice and his mannerisms remind me of the kid from the first Jurassic Park. He just sounds.
They really do. The little blonde-headed boy. Yes, it really does.
The little boy that it's just like how he follows him around and asks questions and things like that. It's kind of
it just hit me what movie y'all talking about. It just hit me. I've seen the preview for it.
Have you seen the review? It's so good. Go watch it. Go watch it when we get done.
Okay.
It's so good.
So good. But I love Ryan Reynolds and his wife, their Instagram and stuff, because like
they're hilarious.
There'll be a picture of him with his wife, like 3/4 of the way cut out. And I say, to my beautiful wife.
Yeah, and she goes along with it too. She goes back to him and get with it. It's so funny.
He can't do anything serious. He did a movie with Will Ferrell here recently, I think. No, was it Will Ferrell?
Maybe it was Will Smith.
No. Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. I think he did a movie with Will Ferrell recently.
Okay.
And
I have to see that now.
I think it was. I think that's what it was. Will Ferrell was supposed to be on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he didn't show up. And who come out was Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be on the other Jimmy show, Jimmy Kimmel, and then
Will Ferrell came out.
He took that one. They switched on at the last minute. They didn't tell him.
That's something they would do.
To see the look on Jimmy Fallon's face when he comes out is like he's like kind of shocked, more surprised. They're like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" Oh, he said, "Well, he couldn't make it. He asked me to show up and, kind of bide him some time till he. Well, never mind. He's not coming.
He's not coming.
Well, how do you get anything done with those guys around, right?
I'm telling you, there was a TikTok I saw the other day. That's what I was telling my daughter about it, and my wife. I was like, I guess we'll watch this one because it's like this TikTok that I saw the other day. They're like, what celebrity girl do you feel like you have a shot with that you'd want to go on a date with? And it's like,
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, one is like Ariana Grande, and another guy's like Miley Cyrus, and another guy says another name, and then the last guy's like, he looks straight into the camera. He goes, Ryan Reynolds, and then everybody's like, I'm changing mine. Oh yeah, me. Well, I'm gonna change mine to Ryan Reynolds too. So like, then everybody. Yeah,
that's awesome. Like that guy's sense of humor.
Right. So let us know. I know you're very interested. You're very active on IG and the social platforms and all too. So let us know what you have going on. Before we let you go, what you have going on in the moment and right now. Or do you have any projects coming up, or is it with the just staying relevant and own, or do you actually have?
Just still going on some commercial and print. All during COVID, there was nothing going on, and that's when I really started posting so much of my retro stuff. I'm like, we'll start posting that old stuff. But it's been fun being involved in the 80s community. What a great decade. And everybody like yourselves, everybody's awesome. Everybody, loves movies, you love music, you love the toys, you love everything about 100%. It. And, I think we all have kept our childlike.
Absolutely.
Ask my 100%. Kids.
Mine never left. Mine never left.
I have a garage full of collectibles that I got to.
Right.
But
I'm the same way. I'm not green screening.
I know, right?
Some of my stuff.
See over there, I've got like Freddy Krueger, Harry Potter, Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. I just recently got a Turbo Man. Turbo Man.
How did you get a Turbo Man?
He wouldn't get the cool one.
Yeah,
Can I see it real quick? Can you show me that?
Absolutely. Hold on just a second. 100%.
Oh,
they actually have those at Walmart.
Huh?
They actually have them at Walmart right now. I seen one just last night.
I have got to have that.
I did not pick it up. I thought about it. I did not pick it up.
Do you remember how disappointing it was to everybody far and wide when that movie came out and there was no
toys?
There was no toy.
Yeah, there he is. There's my Turbo Man.
Oh yeah.
I just happened. My son and I were walking through Walmart, and he goes, and we had just watched this Christmas. You know, we're big on all the Christmas movies and all. Yeah. And I told my son, I said, well, we're going to watch my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And it's Jingle All the Way. So we're walking through Walmart. This thing, there was 2 of them, and they were on the very bottom shelf, like clearanced out or something.
Oh no!
And he goes, Dad, look, a Turbo. Yeah, he goes, Dad, a Turbo Man. I said, what? A Turbo Man? So I'm in the middle of Walmart with my son going, I got a Turbo Man.
Oh my God. It's really weird. There's kind of this psychic thing going on right now because things you're bringing up and mentioning, I've been, like thinking about, like, because we just watched that too at Christmas, watched all the, and I've been making my daughters watch a lot of the, movies they hadn't seen or they watched when they were little with us and didn't remember. My son remembers
exactly.
more,
going back and rewatching. That's like the Harry Potter stuff I've been rewatching with my son. Now he's old enough to get it. So
even too embarrassed to tell you how many times I watched the reunion special like 4 times already. But I have a lot of the Harry Potter stuff and all the books.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I read them out loud to my kids, actually.
There is nothing wrong with being a nerd. Own it. All right.
No,
I own
that's
it.
right.
I own it. Travis owns it.
100%.
It's all good.
Who has more fun?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
For real.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't care what people laugh.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for having me on. It's so nice to meet you and hang out.
You as well, 100%. Thank you so much.
Lori, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me all the times you had about coming up this way and coming on and everything. Getting things hammered out. It's been really great. And once again, your Instagram handle, what was it?
It's just still Lori Tucker. So it's Tucker_Lori, LORI. Mm-hmm. Basically music and stolen memes. That's what I do.
She's one of us, everybody.
But I definitely recommend following her. She's got a lot of great stuff on there, and she does a lot of good things too. You can keep up with her good things that she's doing. If you have another one like the Patrick Warburton deal come up again, something different, people can see that. Definitely let us know
for St. Martin's Animal Foundation. So always
definitely let us know here whenever you have anything going on. We'll be happy to promote anything you got going on.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. No problem. Definitely. Thanks so much. And we hope maybe one day in the future we can bring you back on again, or so we had such a blast tonight. We can always do this again.
That'd be awesome. Me too.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Have a great night, Lori.
Bye-bye. You too. Take care, guys.
All right.
You too.
All right. That was great. She's a really great person, Travis, really and truly. I talked all these things I've talked to her about coming on. So she's been really good for everything here. And I'm glad she was able to take the time to come on.
And yet another star that has talked to us, like we were sitting around the fire table in the backyard having a couple of drinks, with the few interviews that we've done so far have just been so spectacular for me personally, just because of the fact that they've been so interpersonal with us, you know what I mean? And opening up, and it doesn't feel like a generic interview, man. They've been so cool.
It's like Lori mentioned earlier, but the people that you didn't know how they would react when you talk to them. Are they cool? Or are they not going to be cool? She's definitely one of those people. It's real down to earth and very cool to talk with. And like I said, took a time out of her night on the weekend to sit here and talk with us about some things about what she's done in music, the videos, commercials, TV, and everything. And of course, the great thing to find out that she's just as much a nerd as we are.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
Awesome.
She wanted Turbo Man. Yes, Lori, I will definitely show you my Turbo Man. The Hot for Teacher, models likes my Turbo Man.
Like your Turbo Man. I was telling her when you reached around to grab that. I said I just seen that at Walmart last night or the night before. We have one at my Walmart now. They want $35 for it currently, though. It's not marked down.
Yeah,
it's right at $35. But she said she's going to find one. She's going to look for that. So hopefully she finds herself one.
Heck yeah.
So, and maybe by the time she finds her Turbo Man, you'll find your booster to go along with Turbo Man.
If they got a booster, I will definitely buy the booster.
I don't think they made a booster, really. I'm pretty sure it's funny they just made the Turbo Man.
Yeah, the Turbo Man's awesome, though.
Man, that's hilarious. All right,
So was Lori Tucker.
Let me go ahead and get to the thing before we forget this, everybody. We're going to get our social media out there like we did for Lori. Once again, she said, follow her on Instagram. She's very fun to watch, and she's very interactive with the fans and everything. So she's a great, really great person.
She really is, yeah. She's cool.
But I'm going to go ahead and drop this here real quick. Take a look at it for us, and we'll be right back with you.
You know, social media is a very important thing these days. It's the way that you keep up with us and the way that we hear from you. So if you would, take a moment and follow us. We're located at TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at our name, Retro Life for You. That's RETROLIFE, the number 4YOU. You can also reach us via email at retrolifeforyou@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe and follow and share us with your friends. And hey, while you're at it, do us a huge favor and leave us a great 5-star review and a rating. It helps in ranking the podcast and, most importantly, lets us know how we're doing for you.
And there we go.
There
we go.
They might not know how that goes unless you're from around here. You don't know.
No, I don't know that, man. I'm sorry.
Means goodbye. It means okay. It means hello. It means
what's up?
What's up? What's happening? What's for dinner? You know what I mean? I appreciate that. And all that.
And you were far south. That's what you are.
Yeah, I'm in the buckle of the Bible Belt, boy.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining up with us tonight. Do follow us on our social medias. We just played. We'd really appreciate the follow and the likes and everything. And next week we'll have another episode for you ready to go. So Travis, we'll be seeing you here shortly.
See you then.
Have a great night. Great night, everybody.